Hey folks, good late morning to you and welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. What's next for you? Visit cnext.bank for more, the exclusive banking partner of the Digital Weather Desk. Thanks so much for taking time out on this late Monday morning, last live stream of the day. No late afternoon, early evening live stream. Going to take a few hours to just kind of chill because it was an active weekend. And again, the advantages of this platform are when the weather is quiet, we can tell you, hey, the weather is quiet, and we can all kind of breathe that little bit of a sigh of relief for the next couple of days. Check the visible satellite. The one thing that is going to be a problem is the low clouds, and if you don't know about low clouds, they are the most annoying thing in the weather forecasting world. They are the annoying uncle of the weather world. They are the mosquito of the weather world. They're just annoying. And the thing about low clouds is, like that annoying family member, they just tend to leave when they want, and they tend to linger a little bit longer than they are usually welcome. And that's been the case this morning. I was really optimistic that we would get the clouds out of here at some point during the afternoon. And of course, we haven't gotten into the afternoon, so it's still an opportunity. And that's kind of what I mentioned when I adjusted the forecast late this morning, that I wouldn't be surprised if Mother Nature didn't go, ha ha ha, and go ahead and give us some sunshine anyway. You take a look at the visible satellite, and where the low clouds continue to remain pretty persistent is where those shades of green and blue continue to linger, where temperatures are generally in the 50s. We still have the 60s along the coastline, where we're also seeing a little bit of sunshine, especially as you move farther west. As we zoom in, you can see that there are some areas across the Mississippi Valley that should see at least some peaks of sunshine in the next few hours, and then also in far southwestern reaches of Grant Parish and into far southern portions of Wynn Parish, we're probably not seeing a lot of clearing yet, but we are starting to see the trend towards some clearing. So there will be some areas that are socked in with clouds pretty much all day. There will be some spots that see some late sunshine and temperatures climb pretty quickly, and that's going to lead to a wide array of temperatures. But in general, I've brought those forecast highs down from the 60s into the 50s because there's going to be a lot of areas that only climb maybe 5 or 6 degrees more, and that's where they land for the rest of the afternoon. Some spots may not even may not even warm up that much. We're at 48 in El Dorado, 52 in Monroe, 53 in Natchez, so you can again see what low clouds do to the forecast. We were expecting mid-60s. I was really expecting to be at least in the upper 50s by this point in the late morning hours, and we're not even close to that. So again, expect a noticeably cooler day, a lot of shallow moisture and low clouds, but we are starting to wedge at least some slightly drier area near the surface. So there is the window of opportunity, maybe for some late sunshine this afternoon. Not overly optimistic about it, but it's a possibility. Winds are light out of and fairly variable. That's why you're not really seeing a sustained wind direction in terms of arrows, because those winds are fairly variable as we've gone through the late morning hours. I would expect winds to generally stay out of the south and southeast later on today. Look at Futurecast, shows the same thing. Eventually, those winds become a little bit more focused out of the south, and they will be breezy at times through the day tomorrow and probably through the daytime hours on Wednesday. We still expect to hang around with quite a bit of cloud cover, but those stronger southerly winds will eventually bring some warmer air back into the region, and I would expect those winds to stay breezy, as I mentioned, out of the south and maybe the southwest as we move through the mid parts of the week. Eventually, we work a weak cold front through, and the winds become kind of parallel ahead of the boundary, so they'll be still out of the west and southwest as we go through the latter part of the week, and it still pushes temperatures well into the upper 70s to even low 80s by Thursday. The day planner for the rest of today, obviously making some adjustments to the forecast. The day planner made possible by the Monroe Chamber of Commerce and Leaders of Change. Learn more at monroe.org. But again, the clouds will linger with temperatures generally hovering in the mid to upper 50s through most of the day. Could see some late peaks of sunshine. The best chances of seeing sunshine will be farther southwest and farther northeast. But a good chunk of the region will probably be stuck with mostly cloudy to cloudy skies through the day. And that is a pretty noticeable change from where we were earlier in the forecast. A look at Futurecast, made possible by Bayou Power Sports I-20 Frontage Road in Monroe, shows those winds back out of the south tomorrow, but still contending with quite a bit of cloud cover through the day. A weak front approaches the area Wednesday. That first boundary doesn't really make that much of a difference, but it does help kind of shift our winds back out of the southwest. And then we bring another cold front into the area Thursday into Friday, and you can kind of see it. I don't have the front actually drawn out here, but it's essentially just going to be stalled, where you see winds out of the northeast here behind the boundary, out of the south ahead of the boundary. And that front's going to be basically the focal point for some cooler air that will eventually punch through the region this weekend. But it will also bring us a corridor of cloud cover and maybe some spotty showers that starts as early as Thursday and doesn't wrap up until that front finally gets a final nudge through the region early Saturday. And that will keep the rain chances mainly scattered in the forecast, and then eventually some cooler air by the end of the weekend and early next week. Peavy, good afternoon to you, or good late morning to you, I guess I should say. As we take a look at the upper level winds, same general story as we continue to just stay relatively quiet here in the short term, and the stronger winds aloft really stay redirected out of our area. You can see the streaking mid-level winds that really will provide a conveyor belt of deeper layered moisture, and it does keep the cloud cover in our forecast, but it really doesn't bring any significant storm systems through the region, at least, again, in the short term. With these stronger winds staying displaced out of our area, it really doesn't it allows for boundaries to move in and then just kind of get hung up, because a lot of these stronger winds are running parallel to the boundary, so it doesn't really push the front. It just kind of allows it to sit there and stall. So eventually, as we go through the end parts of this week, you see the upper level pattern is still kind of hung up, and so we have this boundary that's going to just be staying parallel across the area, and the winds just kind of run along the boundary until we get late into the week and we get a final upper level disturbance to kind of push that cold front through. That's what will help bring the better chances of rainfall late Friday and early Saturday. And it also changes the upper level pattern. So once that boundary passes through, you can see the stronger winds and the stronger winds aloft stay, again, out of our area, but they are more northwesterly. On the tail end of this stronger streak of winds, we also get a stronger northwesterly pattern. Again, it's not as aggressive of a colder air surge into our region, but we will at least trend cooler for the early parts of next week. I have us in the 50s by Monday for highs. Morning lows probably back into the 30s, and we could drop back to near the freezing mark in some locations. But as you take a look at this pattern, again, the stronger winds that are going to pull the colder air in faster really stay displaced to our north and east. So while we, again, see a cool down, we don't see that aggressive chunk of cold air. Now, again, if these computer models change and if the data changes and the pattern favors a stronger surge of winds in the central parts of the United States, then we would obviously see some colder air associated with that. But right now, the pattern does not really point that direction. So, biggest takeaways for early next week is we will trend back closer to where we should be for this time of year, but I don't see anything extreme headed our way. And then an upper ridge of high pressure sets in across the central United States, and while there are some weak disturbances aloft, I really don't see a lot of significant rain chances through the early parts of next week as well, and really over the next 7 days. I don't have a lot in terms of rain chances. Most of it's hinging around that stalled boundary as it trudges through the region late this week, and then early next week looks pretty dry as well. Daytime highs today, again, ranging anywhere from the low 50s to near 60 degrees. If we get some late sunshine, the low 60s or even mid 60s are not out of the question, but that will be in kind of isolated areas. Lows tonight fall a few degrees. Again, the cloud cover really doesn't allow us to warm up much or cool down much, so we'll hover near 50. Some spots will slip into the mid to upper 40s, especially across southern Arkansas. Winds will stay light out of the south-southeast, and as the southerly winds start to crank up, the warming trend carries us back in through the middle parts of the week. We're back near 80 by Thursday, mid-70s Friday, and then you can see how that front brings a wide array of temperatures starting this weekend. We'll be cooler to the northwest, warmer to the southeast starting Friday and Saturday, and then as the front gets that final push through the region Saturday, it brings our best rain chances, mainly early Saturday, and then cooler temperatures to follow Sunday, Monday. Highs back into the 50s and 60s, lows back into the 30s and 40s. So that's how the next 7 days shapes up across the area, with really the only major weather headline is above average temperatures for midweek, and then a cold front for the weekend that could bring some rainfall. But in general, no severe weather threats that I can really see in the next 7 to 10 days. No drastic cool downs, no massive punches of cold air headed our way in the next 7 to 10 days. And if anything changes, obviously we'll let you know, because that's what we do here. And that's how the forecast shakes out on this Monday, right around lunchtime, February 16th. Forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the Digital Weather Desk app. Available for Apple and Android users. Links to download are at digitalweatherdesk.com. Just uploaded the latest forecast about an hour ago when I was adjusting all the temperatures, so you can, again, check that out at your leisure. No live stream this afternoon, as I mentioned. We're just going to take the late afternoon off. If anything crazy happens in terms of fog potential tomorrow morning or anything like that, I'll let you know. Fish and Game will be out at 8 p.m. tonight, and I'll also have a brief look at the forecast at 5 p.m. this evening in lieu of a live forecast update. But obviously, we'll keep you in the know if anything crazy happens or any significant shifts continue to happen with the forecast. And we'll keep an eye on the sunshine. Fingers crossed that it'll try to poke through as we go through the late afternoon hours today. Thanks so much for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. As always, thank you so much for being a part of this. We're glad you're here, and thanks for being a part of this community. Have a great rest of your Monday.